Hello and welcome to the Gooner Talk, back again with you guys for another show, for another episode of our Raw Reaction series. You join us at the very moment that Aston Villa Football Club eclipsed Arsenal Football Club in world standings. Embarrassing. Really not a good day for Arsenal supporters. Now, let's put this into context first of all. Whether you wanted Emi Buendia at Arsenal or not, this is bad. There should be no one relieved about this. There should be no one relieved and think, oh, thank God we didn't get Buendia. No one should have that mindset right now, whether you wanted him or not. Because the fact of the matter is that whether you wanted him or not, Arsenal wanted him. Arsenal wanted Buendia. Arsenal have been interested in him, have wanted to go for him. And Aston Villa have beaten them. Have beaten them to Emi Buendia, and you have to turn around and say fair play to their recruitment, guys, because that is a great deal for them from the looks of things. I mean, if we have a look at the actual deal in itself, David Ornstein's tweeted saying it will be a 30 million, not 40, a 30 million plus add-ons with a sell-on clause as well. Personal terms agreed, medical done. The Tafe sell-on was bought out a while ago. What a great bit of business for Aston Villa. Very, very good from them. Fair play. But at the state of play, this is where we find ourselves. This is the situation. We're going to start doing shows on alternatives. Arsenal are going to have to go to their plan C. I think this is plan C, because plan A was Martin Odegaard. Plan B was Emi Buendia. So what is plan C? Yes, what is plan C? That is where Arsenal are at. We are in the 5th of June. Do you remember when I sat here and I told you, don't worry, guys. Don't worry, guys. It's the 5th of June. You got nothing to worry about. Like, just chill. Do you remember when I said I'm feeling good about this window? Do you remember when I said all those things? What a moron. What absolute moron. Why do I fill myself with this optimism? Why do I do this to myself? Honestly, what a way to start off Richard Garlick's job. He's one of the big people involved in transfer negotiations and dealing with players. Edu starting off things. I mean, Arteta telling us that things are planned out, regardless of whether we're in Europe or not. This is what we were coming to expect. This is the situation that Arsenal find themselves in, getting beaten to the punch by Aston Villa now. A club that have got ambition, you have to say, going out and signing really good players last summer. Matty Cash coming in. You're seeing the likes of Bertrand Traore, who they deemed not good enough in the end. Buendia is going to take his place. He's going to be moving to the right-hand side. He'll be playing at number 10. Their ambition will be to keep hold of Jack Grealish as much as feasibly possible. It is not a signing that's done to replace Jack Grealish whatsoever. It is a really embarrassing moment for Arsenal Football Club to have allowed this to happen. Obviously, if we go down and sign an alternative to Emi Buendia, then we'll come back and we'll be like, great, we've signed that player. But that is irrelevant right now. It doesn't matter who Arsenal go and sign next. This is a problem. This is a big, big problem that Arsenal have been beaten to a target by a team that we all would consider to be not on Arsenal's level. Certainly in standing, certainly where we want the club to go. And that's why it's so important to turn around and say that whether you wanted this guy or not, it doesn't matter whether you wanted him. The precedent of the fact that Arsenal have been beaten to this signing is the problem. That is the problem that you need to focus on and be worried about. Really, really worried about. Let's see what you guys are saying in the chat box. WTF were they doing, says Ivan. How can they bottle this? Red Chem says, we can't trust this club and this ownership. GD2 says, came on to laugh at this club. Why should you care with owners like this? Because I love my club, mate. That's why I care. They're custodians. That's all they are. So I still care. Of course I do. Henry Oakland says, raging, worried for people who think we are getting... I mean, what planet are people living on that think we're going to go and get Grealish at this stage? We can't get our plan B option. We can't get our plan B for a £30 million fee. We're told that the Kroenkes have got big plans to invest in Arsenal Football Club. When are we going to... when am I... And I keep saying we. When am I going to stop believing this crap? When am I going to just take the optimistic hat off for once and stop just being optimistic and seeing the reality of what it is, which is it is being poorly run. And it is embarrassing that we're in this situation now. Hanyumi says, why are we getting worried about a championship player moving to another championship club? I mean, if you cannot see the problem, then you're part of it, in my opinion. If you cannot see the fact that whether you wanted this kid or not, the fact that Arsenal wanted him and have been beaten to the punch by Aston Villa is a big issue, is a big, big problem. I mean, you don't see that with other teams. You don't see that with our rivals. You don't see that with the teams that we are looking to compete with. If they have a target, they go out and they try and get it. And they will do everything they can. They won't be usurped by one of the smaller teams. It's as simple as that. Mitch says, don't you think if the club can't get any of Arteta's top 3 targets in each position, he should step down before he ruins any chance of a future managerial career, because nobody can succeed like this? There is an element of frustration, an element of sympathy for Mikel Arteta. Like, I've certainly sat here and said I don't think he should be the coach right now. But the fact of the matter is, if you want him to be the coach, and the club clearly do, otherwise they would have got rid of him, then you've got to back the guy. You've got to back your coach. You've got to get him the players that he wants to get. Otherwise, what is the point? Because at the moment, Aston Villa, who finished, by the way, only a few points behind us, beat us twice this season, 3 times now, arguably, in the transfer window of the target, are in a situation. Also, do you know what's really annoyed me as well is how Arsenal fans, who are obviously, during the transfer window, we as Arsenal fans have really got kind of on it with, as you know I am, looking at news, looking at this. And I do have I feel very sorry for the Arsenal fans that I do feel have been a bit strung along over the last 48 hours. False reports coming out, reports we're told about Luis Campos, and then that turns out to be untrue. Amended articles everywhere. I get that stuff is wrong. I'm in the business myself. I understand it. But it is a frustrating thing to be involved in, to have the passion as an Arsenal fan. It's a really frustrating thing that the amount of false information that's coming out at the start of this transfer window sets a really bad precedent for right now. The amount of amendments that are going on, the amount of changes that are going on, the amount of... And it's really funny. I said this on the other show. I said that, in fact, I don't know if I've still got the tweet. Let me find it very quickly. But I talked about this on the show that we did the other day, on the 8 a.m. show, that the local Norwich-based account called the Pinken, which is basically their local newspaper, tweeted out, I'm just trying to find it for you guys, tweeted out that there have been no bids so far for Emi Buendia. No bids had yet been made. And I said, look, if you want to go and try and find some reliable stuff, have a look at what the local papers are saying. Have a look at what the local media outlets are saying rather than the huge ones. And funnily enough, at 8:12 p.m., which was just under an hour after we've been told by Chris Wheatley that Arsenal had put a bid in for Emi Buendia, they tweeted out saying that there have been no bids yet as of that moment. And it is funny how it works out in the end. That this is how it works out. So, if Arsenal was to go out, you know, what we talk about, I think it's absolute fantasy to think Arsenal will go and get Grealish. But that is the only thing you can look at and really go, you know what? If Arsenal want to go turn around and put a big middle finger up to Aston Villa for doing that, you'd have to say go all out for Jack Grealish, wouldn't you? That's the only redeeming feature about this whole situation. It's not going to happen. So I would be absolutely stunned if that were to happen. But it's so don't get your hopes up about that. But that is the only way Arsenal could turn things around with this situation that they've now found themselves in. Unique says to compete with Aston Villa for transfers clearly shows how far our football club has fallen. A lot of people are guilty of this, but unfortunately, they will never be held to account. It's a disgrace. Cash says, we finished 8th and are now losing Erdegaard, Luiz, and maybe Aubameyang and can't get Emi Buendia. We are in trouble. Matt Thornton says, feels like Arteta is being set up to fail. I feel sorry for him. Sarthak says, you can clearly see Norwich wants us to rush us to get the 40 million. Why are you making these stupid fans panic? I mean, I'm not going to accept anyone abusing fans in the chat. So first off, you can get out. Secondly, to answer your question, though, it's not about panicking fans. It's about informing them and telling the right information. That's what this is about. It's about telling them what's actually going on and reacting to it. And it is. I do find it a little bit amusing how, like, the Athletic gets a hell of a lot of stick sometimes. And I've said it for a long period of time, saying, look, they're patient, they wait, they get their information from good sources, and they put it out at the apt time. And look at what's happened today. If you needed any more proof of your go-to in that area right now, in terms of your real solid information that you're going to get it from, that is what is up right now. It's mad. It's crazy. Abe says, how do we mess this up? We always do something wrong. I'm so done, Tom. I'm sick of this. Grealish is 90 million. We ain't getting him, says Red Keb. Exactly. 100%. I agree with you. Mr. Yuga says, go and enjoy the sun, Tom. It's less stressful. Unless you get burned, fella, which I have done over the last few days. Yo-Yo says, I'm the only one who thinks the club have dodged a bullet like Awar. Arteta said himself that he didn't want anyone who needed convincing. Let's just stay positive. Wow, Yo-Yo telling us to stay positive is a new one. But if the problem is, Yo-Yo, I get what you're saying, and I understand maybe we'll dodge a bullet in the future with Buendia. But the point is it doesn't matter about the player. It's the fact of the matter that Arsenal wanted him. They went for him, and they didn't get him. And not only to like a club that you would associate and say, like, your Chelsea's, your United's, but to a club that we would look at and say that we would consider ourselves on a higher level. But the fact of the matter is that we're not right now. And the club is letting that be reflected in the transfer market in the 5th of June. That's where we've stepped up so far. And of course, Arsenal then put a tweet out, obviously, to do with nothing other than this. You're going to see what's going to happen now to those replies. Joe Parton says, call me mad, but I still think we'll pull this deal off. Joe, you're mad. You're mad, mate. I mean, I'd love for you to be right, but you're absolutely mad. Cavani says, Tom, who do you think your plan C is? Isco on loan. Erdegaard on loan again. Danny Ceballos, bring him back. Get him back. Oh, my days. Who is plan C? We've really not been linked to any kind of other attacking midfield players. Maybe they're going to wait for the Euros to happen. Maybe they're going to want to wait and see and what happens after that. But yeah, Jesus. I mean, now Aston Villa have not only they taken Emi Martinez, we've strengthened them by giving them Emi Martinez. But then we've gone out and allowed them to get Emi Buendia as well. And I tell you what, a front line of Ollie Watkins, Jack Grealish and Emi Buendia, I tell you what, that's going to rival Arsenal's. It's going to rival Arsenal's. It's arguably, I mean, would you swap Ollie Watkins, Jack Grealish and Emi Buendia for Aubameyang, Saka and Pepe? Would you do that swap? Would you do it? It's a tough one. It's a tough one, but that's the way they're building. They're building a very, very good squad. And it's just the fact of the matter is right now is that Arsenal is showing a lack of ambition in the market. And it's, yeah, very, very, very worrying. Very worrying indeed. To those commenting, yes. What was that? Maybe. There's still a lot of no's. There's still a lot of no's in the chat box, which is a good amount of commitment. Fair play to you all. The point of the fact of the matter is that it is close, isn't it? It's very close to consider how good that front line of Grealish, Watkins and Buendia could be in comparison to Saka, Aubameyang and Pepe. It's closing. I tell you what, they're closing the gap faster to us, if not already, than we are closing the gap to the targets that we want to have. That's where we sit right now, is that the teams below us are getting closer to us at a faster rate than we are getting closer to the teams above us. That's where we find ourselves in right now. Parn says replace Saka with Lacazette, and everyone will probably be saying yes. Yeah, it's not a bad shout, to be fair. The Arsenal Misfit says, you're right, Tom. Villa aren't on our level. Villa are above us right now. Jack Burgess says, this is what happens when Arteta and Edu are running the transfers. Absolutely shambolic. This confirms that we're no longer a big club. I mean, Arteta's not involved in transfer negotiations, so he's not involved in that. The only thing that Arteta might get involved in is if he does like a phone call. That might be the only thing that he's involved in. All the technical stuff, the financial stuff, that is all they do. That is all Richard Garlick, all of those guys. So yeah, you can't really go, oh my God. You can't really go in and go, oh, it's Arteta's fault. So there you go. Sorry, Emmy, you're losing your man. You're losing your boy. Ease off. So apologies, mate. T. Irving says Arteta should resign if none of his targets, plan A or B, have been successful, but he would probably still stay. He has the backing of the Cronkies. Well, he doesn't have the backing, does he? He doesn't have the backing whatsoever. Otherwise, we'd be sitting here talking about Emi Buendia going to Arsenal, but we're not. We're not talking about that right now. James S says, can't wait to see our last-minute bid for Julian Draxler, who's signed a new deal with PSG. They're crazy. Matt Thornton says, Odegaard on loan, Aouar for £25 million. Peter Renner says, Tom, do you think it's another Arteta versus Edu, like with Partey and Aouar? Maybe Arteta wants Buendia and Edu wants someone else. We'll have to wait and see. Iron Cub says, Rodrigo De Paul wouldn't cost much more than what Villa paid for Buendia. I think he's more than 40 million quid. Iron Cub, but yeah, that's kind of the fee that you would see for a De Paul, but he looks to be off to Atletico Madrid this summer, so it's just a really frustrating time to be an Arsenal fan. That's the fact. It's the fact of the matter right now. Neil says Odegaard incoming for €60 million. Thibaut Pest says let's get Santi back. Yours says I need to stop with Arsenal. ABJ says any links to Benzema. James S says, do you think this Arsenal's plan for Grealish, letting them have Buendia so we can sign a Grealish? I don't see it, James. It's fanciful. It's an absolute fantasy land to think Arsenal are going to go out and get Jack Grealish. It's beyond imagining that Arsenal could do that. I mean, it's the only way they can redeem themselves with the Buendia Villa situation would be to go in and say, look, Villa, here's 90 million quid. We'll take Jack Grealish. That is the only way. Only way we're going to see it. My Menagerie says, what were you guys really expecting? That you can trust Arsenal and they were going to make the fan base excited? Absolute joke. Wake up. People, y'all sleeping. There's a funny message. Aditya says, hi, Tom. I'm devastated to hear the news, but who, according to you, would fit the bill for the profile? And to be honest, Arsenal was more loved now. It's more and more frustrating. Yes, it is. I 100% agree with you. It is beyond frustrating. Every single summer we find ourselves in this situation. We build ourselves up with hope that we think we might just ever so pray for Arsenal to have a decent window and to not embarrass themselves. We're 5 days into June and we're embarrassing ourselves. That's where we're at right now. I know that typically you come here for the more positive, the optimistic, the level-headed side of the argument, and I try. I really do. I've been doing it for 33 days straight, talking about Arsenal's transfers, trying to break down what the ins and outs of them are. I think you can forgive a hell of a lot of frustration that's bordering on ridiculous now with the Arsenal fan base and within my own self as well. But in regards to that plan B, plan C, D, the fact that we're on plan C, plan D, plan E, whatever, it's just not the way you start off a window. It's just not the way you start off a window at all. Mitchell says not having a contingency plan will be a lot worse than not signing him. A very close second, I'd argue. Always a priority to have your main target. But yes, if Arsenal don't have a contingency plan, it's going to be very difficult to get the fans back. This is a huge, huge hit to the Arsenal fan base today. For all the fans that are continuously and religiously following Arsenal transfer news, they have been strung along these last 48 hours by news and hope and optimism. And there's people that you think that you could maybe trust that have really, really let the fans down in the sense and in the way that some of the reports have come out. Because Arsenal fans buy into stuff. The amount of things that have been amended, the amount of things that have been deleted, the amount of things that have been changed over the last 48 hours is beyond anything I've seen before covering Arsenal. It's crazy how much has been changed and amended in the last 48 hours across the Arsenal spectrum. Really, really has. Shocking news, says Lenny. Matt says 5th of June and plan C, not the kind of moving fast we wanted. John says he wasn't going to fit with our team anyways. It wasn't meant to be. Plays the winger predominantly. Aouar, please. And see, the problem is, and I disagree with you wholeheartedly, which is absolutely fine. It's what football is about. It's about opinions. It's about disagreeing with each other. It's about having debates. But whilst I disagree with you, the point of the fact of the matter is whether you wanted Buendia or not, it's the problem that Arsenal wanted him. They didn't get him, and he has gone, or he's going, it looks like, very, very highly looks like, going to a club that we would consider a side that we are not looking to compete with. We're trying to be on a different level to Aston Villa. They're not. They're looking to close the gap and completely eclipse Arsenal Football Club, and they're going the right way about doing it. Steve Coots says, is this confirmed news? In regards to it being confirmed news, it's coming from The Athletic. It's coming from the local media in Norfolk as well. It's as close to as confirmed as you can without an official announcement. That's the situation that we're in right now. So it's as close to being confirmed as it feasibly can be from all of the reliable sources that I'd certainly trust. Let's scroll down the chat and go through a few more comments before we wrap things up. Ben Fawcett says this might I've missed it. What about Daichi? I don't know who that is. I don't know who that is. I'm sorry. Buendia says Red Chem was our number one. Well, he's our plan B. Erdegaard was our number one target. Justin says, a guy asked me about the news of Ward-Prowse to Arsenal. I laughed at him. Now with this news, I just don't know what to do. You shouldn't laugh at news about James Ward-Prowse to Arsenal. He's a very good player. Iron Cub says, Tom, if the reports we didn't bid for Buendia are true, then clearly he wasn't one of our main targets. Well, whilst we may not have bidded for him, or we don't know is the honest answer right now, because there's been so many conflicting reports confusing Arsenal fans right now that we don't really know if Arsenal have officially bidded. But what we are told, what we are led to believe, is that either Arsenal did bid or they were very interested in him and they did really want him. It's just not the way that it's fallen for Arsenal, it seems. Christopher Smith says, too early for despair. Disappointment is expected, but I'm holding out hope. Oh, how long will we do this to ourselves, Chris? Do we know for certain that Arsenal wanted him? Yes, we do. They definitely wanted him. Abe says, Lucas Paqueta is better than Aouar. What's your opinion? I haven't seen too much of Lyon this season, and since he's gone there to be their replacement, I know he's played a fair bit, but there's been some issues going on with the Brazilian players being played more because of, Juninho behind the scenes. You should do some research into what's going on at Lyon behind the scenes, and Rudy Garcia leaving. There's some chaos, absolute chaos going on at Lyon. Adam Benabez says, Tom, do you think that Martinez painted the grim picture of what happens at our club? There is all of the possibility that he's currently spending time with Emi Martinez and Argentina, that he could have been influenced in that way, but it doesn't matter, because if Edu can't get on the phone and convince a player to join Arsenal over Aston Villa, then that is very, very, very worrying. What else can we expect from a cheap shot from our Walmart owners? Even our fan base is good for nothing in protest, says Euless. I mean, if there was ever what's the right words to use? If there was ever a motivation to get Arsenal fans to unite once again and really try to stick it to the owners, I mean, there's few things in a really bad transfer story that will do that to Arsenal fans. That is for sure. We're going to go for a few more comments, guys. I know this is a really, really rubbish day and news and situation to be sitting there and going through. But if you do appreciate us putting out these daily content every single day, we do our 8 a.m. transfer news and updates, and there's going to be a lot to talk about tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. So make sure you subscribe. If you are new to the channel, we're nearly hitting 23,000 subs, so please do hit that button and drop a like if you're enjoying or just watching. Less so enjoying. Kian says 1.1k watching, 7 likes. That's embarrassing. Smash the like button, guys, if you are obviously just tuning in, because I'm sure you're not particularly enjoying the news. Chris Rhodes. Oh, sorry, Chris, I've missed your message. I'm really sorry. It shot past me quicker than I could see it. Abe says Sabitzer or Aouar, considering Sabitzer or Sabitzer has 1 year left. Sabitzer for me. I would go for the Austrian international. I think he carries a team much better than what Aouar does and has had a very good season for Leipzig, but we'll have to wait and see what Arsenal go for now. Pereira to Norwich. Let's beat them to it, says Adam. Yes, that is a good move for Norwich, and it probably makes a lot of sense for them to go to Mateus Pereira from West Brom. Let's scroll down a little bit more and get some more comments in the chat box. Adam says, we're not like it because we can't believe our eyes. It's very true. Any chance of Grealish to Arsenal? No, Nimish. I just cannot see that happening, mate. Absolutely nothing. Damo Rock says, nothing confirmed. Arsenal are still in talks. This is false news. Honestly, if this turns out not to be true, I don't know what to believe anymore. I really don't know how you start off another transfer window. If this turns out to be a load of rubbish or Arsenal hijack this deal at the last second, wow. I don't really know what you'd expect at this point. I really don't. Thanks, Christopher Smith, for joining us as a member. Much appreciate the support, fella. And join the Discord server if you have, in fact, become an expert member. Tyler says, do you think we're going to sell Aubameyang? I would be surprised, but you never know. Nothing's surprising anymore. Ornstein isn't reliable, says Elites. I mean, he's a lot more reliable than a lot of other people out there, trust me. And it's coming from more than just him, mate. There is a lot more than just Ornstein reporting this news. Local media in Birmingham and in Norfolk are both reporting this as well. So, yeah. We'll see. I haven't actually checked my Twitter while I've been live, so I need to go back on there and have a quick check at any mad notifications that are dropping. Arsenal fans are going to be desperate for seeing the latest updates on Emi Buendia. Yes, I mean, James Ben's reporting it now, as reported elsewhere. I'm told Emi Buendia is very near completing a move to Aston Villa. It's mental. It's crazy to think that think of where Arsenal Football Club were, and now we are getting beaten to our transfer targets. Fabrizio Romano has now supposedly confirmed. Has he indeed? Let's have a look at what Mr. Romano is saying on the social medias. And no, I can't see. Oh, here it is. Aston Villa are confident to complete the deal with Emi Buendia, signing in the next hours. As Charles Watts reported earlier today, Arsenal opening bid was turned down days ago. Aston Villa now in talks with Norwich. Last details to complete the agreement for around 35 million euros, which, by the way, is nowhere near the 40 million pound figures people could not believe. It is a reasonable fee. It is a doable fee for Arsenal to completely go for, and they have allowed themselves to be beaten to this. Aston Villa have sold their project to Emi Buendia more so than what Arsenal could sell. Maybe their offer that they put in with was so embarrassing of an offer that it wasn't even entertained, and maybe that turned off Emi Buendia from this deal. And now Aston Villa have gone in. Dean Smith has gone to the guys up the top of the executive board and said, look, I want this guy. Go and get this guy. And they've done him a solid, and they've gone out and got Emi Buendia for Dean Smith at Aston Villa. And yeah, I do feel for Arteta, man. I really do. Like, this is a guy that wants to get back. This is someone that I don't think should be the Arsenal head coach role right now. I think he should have gone after the Europa League situation, but he's here. And the fact of the matter is if the club wants him here, they should back him, and they're not. No matter what you think of him, no matter if you want Arteta in, Arteta gone, the fact of the matter is that the club needs to back him if they want him to stay as manager, and that is not happening right now. Fingers crossed we can give you some more information in the next few days or so that's going to really turn the mood around at the club. But the fact of the matter is right now is that it is an absolute low feeling for Arsenal Football Club currently in the situation that they find themselves in with this situation. Tebow says, we're getting Snodgrass. Cheer up, people. Deary me, Christ. JD says, told you Kroenke is making absolute fools of us fans by nonsense like be excited. Sooner fans wake up and realise that is the better. Kroenke out. Sell Arsenal. Daniel Ek in. I mean, if Daniel, it's funny, isn't it? All of a sudden, Daniel Ek is a huge saviour of Arsenal when he couldn't do nothing to get Arsenal Football Club. Got a lot of Spotify subscriptions though. Lenny says we must be signing Grealish. Lenny, it's just I can't. I can't deal with the fact. It's just a fantasy to think that Arsenal Football Club can get Jack Grealish. I really think it is. I can't see it happening. I'd be absolutely ecstatic if it did, but it's just not something I can believe that they're able to do. Stop spamming the chat, people, please. I'll get to your comments if we need to. South London's Finest B says, do you know what, Tom? I wouldn't be too pissed off if we had someone like Campos experienced in the market to go and find those gems. Absolutely, I agree with you. AB says, FFS, Willock Sale would have raised the money for him if we'd have actually got him. We shouldn't need to raise money. What is this obsession around the fact that we need to raise money? We're told to be excited. We're told that we are having big plans to invest in the transfer window. We should not need to sell. And we were told that Arsenal didn't need to sell to be able to buy. that Arsenal were going to go out into this window and really back the coach and really have a plan in place of what they wanted to do. And so far, it is failing. It is absolutely failing right now. That is the situation Arsenal finds themselves in, is that it is failing. Let's scroll up a little bit more. Thank you ever so much to Samson for joining up as a new member. Much appreciate the support, fella, as always. If you want to join our Discord server, you can do by becoming an expert member. Mr. Joe Kerr, thanks for the donation, says Brandt, Oscar, Coutinho, Awar, Brandt. Said Brandt twice. You must really like him. Which of these disasters do you think will come back to haunt us? I'm disheartened, but super shocked right now, but not super shocked about this. I mean, wow, those names on there, none of them are inspiring me at all. And we are ultimately going to find ourselves in a situation where it's not looking like the best of windows right from the off. And there is going to need to be a statement from Arsenal Football Club in regards to how they move forward in this window and how they approach their transfers. If they want to get the fans back on side, then they need to do something big, because this is not acceptable. And this is not going to, I mean, we say that. How many times have we been saying this time after time after time, that Arsenal need to do something? Arsenal need to appease the fans. Arsenal need to change the way they do business so they can get the fan. They don't care. We need to get it inside our heads. They do not care about you. They don't care about me. They don't care about the fans. If they did, they would be doing a lot more stuff that is completely different to what we currently see at Arsenal Football Club. It's a real big shame. Real big shame. Paul says, Tom, who's next on the Transfer Daily? Now our main target is gone. So much to talk about on tomorrow morning's 8 a.m. show. We do a morning 8 a.m. transfer news update show every single day. If you aren't aware already, make sure you subscribe for all that content. We do dedicated breakdowns to all of the Arsenal transfer targets, giving you guys the education on who they are and ultimately why they won't sign for Aston Football Club. Because, you know, Brighton are going to jump in soon. They're going to sign Max Aarons, obviously. Maybe Fulham might go in. They might beat Arsenal to Max Aarons. That might be where we set ourselves next week, is trying to compete with these clubs. Absolutely unbelievable. Sky Sports have now confirmed, it says, Brad. I mean, I said it's as realistic as it can get right now. Matt says, just chill, people. Wait until the close of the window, then vent. It's no easier said than done. Erdegaard news. He's staying at Real Madrid, Rohan. That's the news with Erdegaard right now. Abe says, Arsenal were, of course, keen on Buendia, but what convinced him to join Villa were very clear indications for how he would fit into the team and a real charm offensive for Villa. Hierarchy, wow. If that's a quote, Abe, I'm interested to see where that's come from. Glenn Cook, I've just missed your comment. I'm missing so many comments as they go past. Buendia doesn't make sense for the boring, brain-dead style of football Arteta tried to convince him to play. Herb Jean says, nobody is coming here to this mess of a club right now. I mean, it's interesting. If Arsenal would have been in next season, if Arsenal had been in Europe, maybe things would have gone down a bit differently. Jose says, is it too soon to say that Arsenal should begin to look for players in relegation clubs across the 5 big leagues? Well, I mean, you can find good players in the clubs that are going down. But if that is the situation that Arsenal find themselves in, where our only targets, that's where we're going for, then it's a really, really worrying time. Iceman says, hey, Tom, Ornstein also said that we're not signing Partey last summer. Don't believe it until it's officially announced. Well, prepare, son. Prepare for it to be officially announced as well. JD says, well, I'd rather have someone who's a fan and loves the club, that Daniel Ek run our club, than someone like Kroenke. Oh, of course, mate. Of course. That's not the point, though. That's not what we're talking about. It doesn't matter. Like, if you have someone turning around and saying they're a fan of the club, great, amazing, fantastic. But actually, you've got to go and do the business. Like, go and get it done. But it's not going to happen. So there's no point. Absolutely no point. Dearie me. Oh, there's some really horrible comments in the chat. That's a real shame. Nimish says, with Grealish and Buendia, Villa are finishing above us next season. Murik says, it's not confirmed yet on BBC or Sky Sports, so still hopeful. It is on Sky Sports, I believe, now. Sanchester says, Tom, so I missed the start. Is this a done deal? Yes, Sam. It looks very much like it is going to be a done deal announced very, very soon. Iron Cub says, I enjoy raging at this club as much as the next guy, but I think everybody should relax a bit and give at least another few weeks before losing their minds. Iron Cub, let us just let us just fall apart. Let us fall apart into insanity for today. We just need to vent. Give us this moment to vent for an hour. And then tomorrow morning, we will reflect on the 8 a.m. morning show about everything that's fallen and the reaction to it. Super Flea says, I'd rather have a decent right back. I've just missed your comment, mate, but I saw what it was. Here we go. Instead of Cole Jenkinson, now gone, who is a massive fan. Very true. Christian Hoover says, yeah, fair play. Luis Campos probably was like, nah, not interested in that. Wow. Dearie me. Why? Oh, that's just no, thank you. Michael Souza Gomez says, offer Emil Smith Rowe a good contract, please. That's what we need to see. Josh Shakespeare, thank you ever so much, mate, for joining us as a member. Really appreciate the support, fella. Thomas says, you have to be joking me. I've just joined Villa instead of Arsenal. Absolute shambles. Adam Gosling says, I've lost my mind at this. Why do we get our hopes up, says Mr. Joker? Because we love this club, Joe. We love this club and we are optimists at heart. We want it to succeed. We want the good things to happen. And we just try all the time and hope and pray that something good is going to happen to this club. And it just time after time, year after year, we find ourselves in this place over and over and over again. What a depressing evening. Summed up by Satyabrat in the chat. What a depressing evening it has been. Thank you, everyone that's tuned in today. Please drop a like on the video and subscribe. We're going to be doing daily content as always. Been over 2,000 of you tuning in for the show, which is crazy. I know why you have been. And thank you ever so much. We do our 8 a.m. transfer shows every single day. UK time, we do a tactical breakdown of all of the Arsenal dedicated transfer targets, and we're nearly hitting 23k. In fact, maybe we have hit 23k now with the amount of you that have been tuning in, which we actually have. So thank you ever so much. We've hit 23,000 subscribers. Much appreciate the support, guys, as always. It's a really crap day. It's awful. It sucks that obviously we're not getting Buendia. I really wanted him, and whether you did or not, it's a real big problem that Arsenal weren't able to get to their main target over Aston Villa. It's a real big problem. It's something that should not be brushed under the carpet whatsoever, but it's a rubbish day. But thank you ever so much anyway for signing up, for subscribing, for becoming members, and for watching the video. There'll be plenty more throughout the window as we cover this absolutely chaotic mess of a start of a transfer window for Arsenal. I'll see you again very, very soon. Absolute pleasure as always, and as always, up the Arsenal.